Podcasters often say evergreen and timeless to describe our content. But the future is rarely kind to creative expressions. Can we avoid making shows that sound dated to the next generation? Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. I've been watching The Chappelle Show. Remember Chappelle's show from 2003? Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, it's back again on Netflix. There's a whole series of drama around the re-emergence of that show, and it's not even close to important to today's topic. I'm watching this show that I used to watch a long time ago on my new really, really big TV that I didn't have back in 2003. It's still funny. There's still parts of it. Some of it's a little bit dated for the references in there, but it looks dated. I mean, holy cow, does this thing look dated? Giant pixels, doesn't fill the full width of the screen. Just the video is, that's the biggest problem that it has. I just wonder, was video on television that bad back in 2002? I mean, it had to be. It's not like they took VHS copies of this that they had stored in an archive somewhere. No, this is Comedy Central. They have the masters from 19 years ago. 19 years ago in 2002. So that's leading me to think about us in the podcasting space, not from the video stuff. That's video. That's video. This is audio. And I wonder about how audio quality will be treated in the future. Specifically, how the content you and I are making today for our shows will sound 19 years in the future. Because, we're making, a lot of us are making evergreen content. Not all of us. There are plenty of news shows that are out there and current events and trends, and that's fine. But for a good amount of us, we're making content evergreen that's designed to be listened to at any point in time in the future. Which means 19 years in the future, what will it sound like? It'll sound like it sounds today, yeah. But how will today's sound be accepted 19 years in the future? Sound reproduction gets better all the time. It really does. The way we listen to and perceive sound is getting better. Just like video, that we can now preserve pictures and present those pictures, moving pictures, on a screen with much more clarity and high definition than ever before. That same thing is happening in the audio quality space. Reproduction is getting better. I mean, by definition, podcasting, we're working in a lossy medium, which means data is lost when we push out our MP3 files, which is the most common way of releasing podcasts. There is some data that is lost, which means that there is some data lost going into headphones or earbuds or speakers or whatever the future might actually hold. So 19 years from now, will your episodes sound dated? Are you even designing them to be enjoyed some 19 years later? Or are you making choices based on the realities of today? No judgment, but you might be making choices based on the reality of today where you want a small file as far as overall bits go so that it goes down to people faster. Well, how's that going to work 19 years from now? Have you considered this? A friend of mine, Marcus DePaula, said to me the other day that marginal video is forgivable, but low-quality audio is not. And I have to agree with him. And I don't think anybody right now is making low-quality audio. If you're listening to this show and you're making low-quality audio, what are you thinking? That's not to be done. But in the future, I wonder about the okay quality you're doing right now for audio might be considered low quality very, very quickly. You can combat that in a couple of different ways. I mean, what you should be doing, what I assume that you were doing, and what I certainly am doing, is preserving the master files. I'm not recording straight to MP3, obviously. I save my build files and the original source files. So in the event that I do need to go along and remaster, I can do that pretty quickly. That, by the way, is how music stays not sounding too dated is they go back and remaster a lot of albums because they have the source materials. Well, as podcasters, so do we. We probably have our source materials. So that's one good thing we should do. Maybe we hope for a hosting solution that comes along that allows us to upload our lossless audio files, and then they make some choices of how to compress and downgrade those files as they're being sent out today in 2021 that can be vastly different tomorrow in 2031 or 2040. Whew, weird numbers to say. That might be happening. Although that's not going to help us with binaural sound or spatial sound, which was a promise that was brought out last year that I don't think has really seen full adoption yet. But think AR, VR, but in your ears. Is the content we're making today fit for that? If that becomes the way content is listened to, probably not. But hopefully that will fail gracefully so that even if there are some fancy headphones or whatever listening device out there, a decent file, maybe stereo, not mono, still sounds good on those devices. I don't know. And I got nothing but questions for us today, people. I have no answers because the future is not yet written. That's okay. Questions that you should be thinking about, all of us working podcasters should be thinking of. It's kind of the gist of the program, so it makes sense. And I want this to be a conversation. You and I can't have the conversation because this is a one-to-many broadcast, but you can have conversations with the other people in your podcasting group, can't you? I will bet you someone in your group, in your peer group, I will bet you there is one person who is way more picky than others when it comes to sound quality. Maybe that's you, but maybe not. I bet that person is thinking about this a lot. So share this episode with them. Yes, shameless plug for me to get you to share podcast pontifications with someone else. And see what you're all thinking about the future of sound and how we can deal with evergreen and timeless content that at some point in time is going to look a little brown around the edges and also dated, or sound that way at least. And if you like the content I brought to you today, and I bring to you every single day, at least 4 days a week, please go to buymeacoffee.com/evoterra and get me a virtual coffee. That would be a lovely thing. That's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another podcast, Pontifications. Cheers.